The New York Knicks have been rolling, and no Knick has been hotter than Karl-Anthony Towns. When the Knicks decided to pull the trigger on the Karl-Anthony Towns trade that sent off Julius Randle, it immediately shook up the NBA landscape while raising the question, how much more could these guys possibly get away with? He can't keep getting away with it. The Knicks were just coming off a 50-win season and had somehow found a way to add Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns in the same offseason. Okay, to be fair, the trade for Mikal Bridges was a massive overpay. I mean, look at all of these picks it took to get him. But guys, KT has been engineering a new era of Knicks basketball. Before we go any further, don't blow your opportunity to do something great like Tim Connolly did. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications if you're enjoying the content. And if you want the chance to 1000x your money while playing daily fantasy, then look no further than Underdog. Just select more or less on projections. Underdog is quick and easy, and it's also a great way to have some extra fun while watching the games. To see exclusive lineups that don't make it to YouTube, be sure to follow my IG, where I'll be posting tons of content. Now guys, when you click the link in the description to sign up for Underdog, make sure to use my code COOP, because with code COOP, you can get up to $1,000 in bonus cash along with a free pick. It's also a great way to support the channel. Thank you, Underdog, for the sponsorship. After a shaky start to the season with the Celtics humbling them on opening night, the Knicks quickly got to work, attempting to establish themselves as one of the best teams in the league. And go figure, that's exactly what they've become, one of the best teams in the entire NBA. A large part of the Knicks' rise to the top is thanks to their offense, which has gone from isocentric and good to now being elite, with anybody having the ability to destroy you. You heard that right, a Tom Thibodeau-coached team led by KT has been wrecking the league, and it's mainly due to their offense. The league should definitely be terrified. I just know that Jimmy Butler is somewhere smiling about all of this. The Knicks currently have the second-best offense in the league, only trailing the Cleveland Cavaliers. Meanwhile, the Timberwolves have been struggling to integrate Randle into their system, while the Knicks have been maximizing KT. And the result of KT's maximization is best and most impactful season yet. 25 points, 14.2 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 1 block, and 0.9 steals per game. That's what this beast has been averaging this season. I can't overstate how good KT has been this season. He already has more 30-point games than he had all of last season. And for those KT haters out there, these big performances have been far from empty stats. With KT on the floor, the Knicks have the space to do whatever they want on the offensive side of the basketball. And that's because KT, who stands at 7 feet tall, is one of the league's best shooters. If you actually ask KT, he'll tell you that he's the league's best shooting big ever. Amid heavy criticism for his untraditional playing style, extending beyond the three-point line, he once said, "I'm the greatest big man shooter of all time." That's a fact. You can see the stats. I don't have to play like anybody else. Everyone is trying to find themselves to be the second version of me when I'm the first version. I don't have to be the second version of someone else. I'm already an original. I don't have to be a duplicate of someone else. When a confident KT talks like this, it's a lot of fun. Back when he said it, a lot of people were reluctant to believe him. But even if you're one of those guys who puts Dirk ahead of him as a shooter, the fact that he's even in that conversation is insane. At this point, there's no denying that KT is one of the most special offensive talents the game has ever seen at the big man position. And the Knicks have definitely been enjoying it. For them, KT has consistently been hitting catch-and-shoot threes from above the break with varying difficulty. He's a huge reason why the Knicks are shooting 40.4% on these attempts, the highest mark in the NBA. Above-the-break threes are a disaster for even elite defenses to guard when you're not knocking them down consistently. The Timberwolves currently have the fourth-best defense in the league, but that didn't matter in KT's return to Minnesota. They had no answer for the big bodega, as he gave them 32 points and 20 rebounds. During this game, KT routinely took one of the best rebounders and rim protectors in the game out of the equation. Just taking Rudy Gobert away from the basket would have been enough, as that alone opens up lanes and gives his teammates more rebounding opportunities. But KT didn't just take Gobert away from the basket, he had to punish him too. Gobert has a 7 feet 9 inches wingspan, and yet KT was shooting practice jump shots right over him and feeling good about it. At one point, I actually felt bad for Gobert because there was nothing he or anybody else could have done to stop this onslaught. Gobert gets a bad rap among fans, but the guy has multiple DPOIs for a reason. However, when he or anyone else gets into KT's body in an attempt to run him off the line, KT just uses his pace, strength, and athleticism to go right by them. And KT barreling down the lane is just as terrifying as him stretching out your defense. Now that pass is stolen by Hart, ahead to Towns, powers to the paint, and won. KT's too fast and too skilled for bigs to guard him, and too strong and too skilled for guards to guard him. And when he gets that mismatch on the block, don't double him, because he's a great passer. He might not be Jokic or anything like that, but every now and then, he'll throw a pass that'll make you do a double take. In Minnesota, that big-to-big connection was real. There were multiple instances where KT had Gobert looking like a viable offensive threat. But also, sadly, in Minnesota, it was much harder for the Timberwolves to take advantage of the mismatches KT created due to him playing alongside Gobert so often. KT being a walking mismatch makes him the ideal screen and roll partner for dynamic guard Jalen Brunson. The Brunson-KT screen and roll is one of the most dangerous actions in basketball, and the Knicks have taken full advantage of it, with KT already setting 416 screens for Brunson this season, the second most of any pairing. On plays like these, KT might not record any meaningful stat, but his gravity causes absolute panic in the defense. Simple baskets like this were much harder to come by last year without a player like KT. It's no coincidence that Brunson, who's super crafty, has been even more efficient this year, finishing 66% of his attempts at the rim. What's really nice for Brunson is that with KT and all of this additional talent, he's also enjoying his best passing season yet, averaging 7.7 assists per game, while his usage rate has dropped significantly. All of us want to see Brunson as fresh as possible for the Knicks' playoff run. We talk all the time about stars wanting to win and doing whatever it takes, but has anybody done more for their team recently than Brunson? Without him, the Knicks would be in a completely different place. Watch out for the Knicks, guys. They're an elite offense led by a defensive coach who's been helping their defense improve. Their schedule has been light this December, but they look like a completely different unit. And they haven't even gotten Mitchell Robinson back yet. Like I said, watch out for the Knicks. Anyways, there's more going on in the basketball world that I need to cover, so click the video on the screen.